I was trying to make a short-form video joke about the Vines still being on Vine, but I don't know if that really
works.
works.
There's a joke there for sure. I missed that platform.
It's the thought that counts.
Oh.
Joining me today, from sitting next to me, Ian Treloar. How are you, Ian?
Oh, great. It's good to be here.
It's good to be sitting next to you in a cafe in Melbourne. Where are we? What's going on?
We are. We had to triangulate a location that was between where you were, where I am, and where I needed to be for school drop-off about 10 minutes ago. So we are in the deepest, darkest depths of suburban Melbourne.
Should we admit to the fact that this podcast very nearly didn't happen?
I think there were ways that it could have happened, but it was just a very impromptu.
I was very close this morning to be like, this is not going to happen today.
That sounds like a you problem, buddy.
It was. Australian time zone, very, very difficult. I haven't fully wrapped my head around it. Anyway, joining us on the line from America, Dan Cash.
Hey, Kelly.
Good morning / evening.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm not usually podcasting at this. It's 5 p.m. here. That means the Phillies are on TV. I'm not watching them play the Braves. I'm here chatting with you, but that's okay. I'll be okay.
In a way, that's the bravest thing of all.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Ian. Yeah.
Should we get to a podcast, gentlemen? Should we get to a podcast? We got a fair amount to talk about. We're in the midst of the Vuelta a España. It has been a roller coaster ride thus far, I would say, of a Grand Tour. And the unfortunate news that I woke up to this morning is that our hopes and dreams of a intra-team battle of two riders pretending to like each other for 3 straight weeks, that dream is dead. Why is that dream dead, Dane?
Yeah, it fizzled really fast. The first mountain stage of the Vuelta was today. I mean, there have been climbing stages, but they actually went into real mountains today in Andorra, where UAE won the stage. Great day for UAE. No notes. Jay Vine won the stage. Unfortunately for UAE.
Congrats.
Juan Ayuso. Not cracked is like, it kind of downplays. He got dropped when the group was still pretty big. It was not a good day for Juan Ayuso. So he went into the race we expected that he and Joao Almeida would lead the way for UAE, and it's become very clear 6 days into the race that ain't happening. Yeah.
Well, he's saying he didn't expect. He's saying he never expected all along.
He is saying that.
That was just us. That was merely our expectation, not his expectation. Which, do we believe that?
It sounds like gaslighting.
That sounds like gaslighting to me.
I think...
I like that UAE simultaneously won the day but also lost it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an impressive feat.
I think with Ayuso, there is some merit to what he is saying, which is that he was a late call-up. Pogacar, I think we had expected Pogacar to go to the Vuelta, and then Pogacar in the last week of the Tour kind of decided that he was over cycling, decided to skip the Vuelta. Ayuso's second half was sort of built around a one-day focus. I think Lombardia and especially Worlds were the big focus. That said, I don't really feel like he went out of his way to tell us that he was going to be bad. He's acting like he saw this coming, but he wasn't really shouting it from the rooftops, as far as I'm aware. I think maybe he was saying, I don't know how I'm going to be, which is probably accurate. But, yeah, he clearly didn't have it, and it wasn't close. It wasn't like he got dropped and held on. It was like, no, it was nowhere near being capable of holding on the final mountain of stage 6.
He didn't look like he particularly wanted to.
Well, that too, yeah. He accepted his fate very quickly, and then in the post-stage interviews, either he's really good at managing media, which I would actually not be surprised by because he is pretty media savvy. He's great. He's a good English speaker. He's I don't know. He's very comfortable on the camera, I think. Not necessarily. He doesn't necessarily say that much, but he's comfortable in front of the cameras. He didn't seem to be that bummed by the fact that he was already out of Vuelta contention. It was like, yeah, sure.
Well, because he's going to sign with Movistar, right? That's just one step closer to his Movistar dreams.
I think the end of the season will be really interesting because the Worlds really still is a goal for him, a hilly Worlds, and he is a good hilly one-day racer. And in this one race, he doesn't have to worry about Tadej Pogacar on his own team because he races for Spain. And I don't know, maybe if he could do something there or Lombardia, like the narrative will change. But I don't know if the rest of the cycling world is going to be buying this narrative right now, that this is everything's fine. Oh, it's fine. I wasn't expecting him to do that well here. Everything's fine here at UAE. I don't know. They really have this whole year, other than Pogačar, everything else the team has done has been, chaotic.
I mean, they still won the stage, and Almeida's still in it,
Yes.
right? But the two-dent, the classic Movistar two-dent, is no more, which I think is a sad thing
now.
for them.
Toothpick.
It's a spear. Yeah. Toothpick? That's rude.
Sorry, Joel.
Can we, on the subject of UAE, can we briefly talk about Jay Vine, who deliberately lost time earlier in the race, was in dead last on GC at one point, which is something, but it was all for a stage victory, and it panned out. The thing that caught my eye in the post-finish video was the cursed level of content creation that is needed to be a pro cyclist at the moment, which involved his wife holding a GoPro in his face immediately after crossing the line, filming him with his baby, which it's
2025.
It's not my idea of a good vibe, but it is a vibe.
He had been saying,
Sounds
I mean,
horrible.
he said in the post-race interview that the whole finale, he was just like, I can't wait to get to the finish where my wife and kid are. Because he, as he said in the post-race interview, he's based very near where the stage finished. He knew the roads very well. I think that actually played really well into his hands today, because he actually got most of his gap not on a climb, sort of on the winding descent and the run into the final climb. That's where he got most of his gap. And he's a great climber. You'd expect that he'd get that gap watts per kilo way. And it wasn't really how he got the gap. He got it, I think, just by descending really well and knowing when to put the power down. And yeah. But yeah, he said he was waiting to meet his wife and kids at the finish, or kid at the finish. I wonder if he was expecting the GoPro to be shoved in his face.
Well, I'm glad that I was trying to make a short-form video joke about the Vines still being on Vine, but I don't know if that really
There's
works.
a joke there for sure. I missed that platform.
It's the thought that counts.
Well,
it's the thought that counts.
let's just all workshop it together.
Let's workshop
in
it
a
together.
public forum.
If we could get somebody on Discord to really figure that one out for us, we'll bring it to you on Monday.
Great.
Yeah, that's how the best jokes are.
Yeah.
Are laid,
yeah.
are
Always
laid
show
out.
you're working.
Can we talk a little bit about some things elsewhere happening in the Vuelta? So, why do the sprinters keep not winning sprint stages, Dane?
Yeah,
Question
I
for
love
you.
this. I found these last 2 days, or I guess stages 3 and 4, to be very entertaining. In that not only did the favorites not win, they were beaten by guys that at the finish you're like, wait, what? Who?
David Gadu.
David
Total
Gadu
randos.
beating Mess Peterson in a sprint, not on the bingo card. Obviously, Gadu's a very talented rider, but this is not the kind of way you expect him
Not
to
at
win.
that though. Yeah.
And he took the inside line. There was a late corner on this uphill sprint. I would encourage you, if you're listening, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. He makes up a ton of room in the last 200 meters, just kind of being with crit racecraft that you don't expect from a small Frenchman. I don't know. I might expect that from an American rider. That might be their only talent. They're not good at doing anything else in the European peloton, but they're really good at cornering.
They could dive bomb the crap
Exactly.
out of anybody.
Which, by the way,
Jonas
Yes.
Vingegaard accused him of dive bombing.
he did. Yeah,
Good.
I thought it was fine.
If you yell inside loud enough,
That's okay.
by the official rules of cycling, you are allowed to therefore dive bomb onto the
I wonder
inside.
if he did.
Maybe he said it in
Yeah.
French.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely took a aggressive line, but he didn't come at particularly close to hitting anyone. Also, it's a sprint finish, Jonas. Get over it. That's how it works. And then the very next day, again, the
If you
favorite
leave the
gets
door
beat.
open, then someone's going to walk through it. That's
Exactly.
that's how this works. Yeah.
The stage 4 finish, another one that I would encourage you to watch. Alpecin bosses this finish. It's the perfect lead out for Jasper Philipsen, right up into the point where Edward Planker didn't get out of the way. And I don't know if Philipsen maybe also just didn't have what it took to get past him. But he was in the driver's
Well, it
seat.
was
He should have
uphill.
won this. It was uphill, but Philipsen is decent. He's not hopeless in that sort of scenario. But this winding finish, once again, it was threw a wrench or a spanner in the works, since you guys are in Australia. I'll translate. That finish though, Ben Turner just kind of, I don't want to say came out of nowhere. He's a very talented guy, but you don't expect Philipsen to lose a sprint where he is led out to perfection. But then he just didn't.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, he just couldn't come around his own lead out man, which is a very strange thing. And if you watch the helicopter shot, I think was somewhat illustrative or instructive for that particular finish. Because if you watch that front group, it's just guys like falling off the back for the whole last kind of 500 meters, which would tell me that front group is more gassed than they normally would be. And maybe it was a bit steeper than we could tell from television.
I think it probably was.
That seems pretty likely.
I also think there were climbs earlier in the day that had that cumulative effect to the point where, everyone was pretty gassed at the end. So we've had some unexpected winners. Basically.
So if we've lost out on unexpected winners, great. I love sprinters getting nipped at the line. Silly things like David Gaudu winning sprints is just very fun. But we've lost what was our great hope for this Vuelta, which was the UAE guys hating each other. We've really lost that now, and I'm deeply sad about it. So what am I filling this hole in my soul with for the next whatever many stages we have left, 2 weeks left? What am I doing with that, Dane? What can I do? Or Ian? Suggestions?
Firstly, I think there's still room for some intra-team hate.
Okay.
It just won't be expressed in the medium of fighting for the GC at the Vuelta.
Yeah, Ayuso could still refuse to ride for Almeida,
exactly.
even though he's not fighting for the GC. That's even more fun. He's just then not only a bad GC leader, but a bad domestique.
Yeah.
Just a bad dude.
I'm kind of hoping
Is
for
he?
that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Well, I have my answer
We
to
should
your
stop
question.
character assassinating.
I have my answer to your question, but before I answer, I want to give Ian the floor because at present, as of recording time, this could change literally by the time this pod goes out. A Norwegian person is leading the Vuelta a España, so that's a big day. Yeah,
It's a huge day. Not just a Norwegian person, but an interesting Norwegian person. Which is not to say that most of them aren't interesting, but this one is a particularly interesting one because...
Walk yourself into a corner there a little bit.
Torsten Train, who is a very Uno X-coded rider, riding for Bahrain Victorious, was on Uno X, went across to Bahrain Victorious a couple of seasons ago. You might know him from such hits as riding the entire 2023 Tour de France with a broken elbow.
Oof.
After being the first crash of stage 1 of that tour, and then just got through it with a broken elbow like an absolute madman. You might also know him from other hits like getting diagnosed with testicular cancer as a result of abnormalities showing up in a doping test. So had a doping test, and then they were like, something's not right here, but I don't think it is EPO or whatever. And then he went and got some tests and had testicular cancer, recovered from that, went to the tour, broken elbow, did some good results at the Criterium du Dauphiné, got signed by Bahrain Victorious, and now he's in the leader's jersey of the Vuelta. So
that is a good arc.
Good arc.
That's an excellent arc.
A Torsten Train might not last long in the leader's jersey, but Kaylee made the bold prediction that Lorenzo Fortunato of XDS Astana might be...
What I was really looking for is I was looking for our Vuelta's Kevin Vogtland, right? Like somebody who, via the breakaway, has sort of put themselves into the top 10 in the first week that could stay there a little bit longer than they would otherwise. I'm not necessarily sure that Lorenzo Fortunato is that person. I mean, honestly, like...
But Fortunato is fun.
It is very fun. Yeah. You like him a lot?
I like Fortunato because this is like real weird depths of my kind of knowledge of pro cycling. When he was riding for Iolo Cometa or something at the Giro 2 seasons ago, gave a hard-boiled egg to Michele Scaroni or something.
Sounds right.
Someone.
Yep.
Gave a hard-boiled egg to him, and then the hard-boiled egg was sort of passed around the peloton as a prank. I don't know what the prank was. It's not a very good prank, but then the guy he gave it to slipped it into Remco Evenepoel's back pocket, and then Evenepoel pulled it out and said, "I hope it's hard-boiled," and gave it back to the guy that put it in his pocket. And that is XDS Astana's big prank of the 2023 Giro, where they were so stoked about it and explaining it. They were like, us Italians, we're so crazy. And I don't think that passing a hard-boiled egg around between people is crazy.
Passing a not hard-boiled egg would be way more fun.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
Yeah.
You know?
But therein lies the jeopardy, because Remco didn't know whether it was hard-boiled or not.
That's true.
So maybe it is funny. Anyway, Fortunato is the mastermind of this genius prank.
I like it more than I think you do. I think it's great because it's not knowing that gets you, right? I mean, it could be you got it in your back pocket, in the back of your head. You just don't know if someone comes up and pats you on the back, if you're going to have a pile of egg dripping down out of your jersey.
Yeah, although in terms of things that could happen to you, like I'm not saying that I would like an egg cracked on my back.
I agree. The stakes are pretty low.
To be clear.
So,
like worst case scenario is that you just have like a little bit of yolk in your pocket for 2 to 3 hours. Like
That's disgusting.
it's not good. It's not good.
disgusting.
But this is a sport where people shit themselves and piss all over each other. Like there's
Tom
other things
somewhere
that
Tom
happen that are
Dumoulin is
worse
saying
than
like it happened one time, guys. That was like 8 years ago. All right.
I appreciate this prank. I want Lorenzo Fortunato. Let's get behind him. I think as a podcast, let's get behind him. Let's see if we can push him forward.
Metaphorically slip an egg into his pocket.
Exactly. Because
So
really, there's
Fortunato
not
is
much
the-
else going on in the front of this the front of this GC that is all that other than maybe Matteo Jorgensen.
Well, that's the thing. So
refusing to
now,
bow
my
to
my
his
answer
leader.
to your question.
Right?
My answer to your question, your long ago now question, was there is still hope of Matteo Jorgensen making some intrigue out of this race, being the Sepp Kuss. Sepp Kuss himself is already down a little bit. He's not super far down, but he's already down a little bit. I think it's up to Jorgensen now to really be the 2023 Sepp Kuss.
I have Matteo's phone number. We can WhatsApp him. What could I tell him that's going to get us what we need out of this Vuelta?
An egg. Hard-boiled egg. Just into Fortunato's pocket and see what he thinks about that.
Put it in Vingegaard's pocket.
What can I tell him?
Yeah. Do that.
Like, do I tell him, Jonas was saying mean things about your mother? Like, what do I tell Matteo to make him really go for this and give us some drama in the last week? What do I do?
I don't have a good answer to this. I do know that I've seen him in like Road Toads' Instagram responding to stuff. So he's up for the memes, I feel like. I just don't know that I have...
He's definitely up for the memes.
What's that?
I said he's definitely up for the memes. And he's been in Kempenart's videos regularly, which is one of the best parts about the Vuelta thus far.
That's it. I think that's the key. We got to find a way to get Kempenarts to like mastermind the drama. And then we'll have the behind-the-scenes look at it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Another way that we could get some drama is that Sepp Kuss's birthday falls during the Vuelta. So we could manufacture some sort of cake-based jeopardy within Visma Lisa bike. So we could get maybe like a poisoned slice of cake.
I was going to say those candles that don't blow out, which is
Candles
very
that don't blow out.
Yeah.
That'd be good. And then just like blow some icing onto Jonas Vingegaard. Or Jonas Vingegaard, I don't know. Like there has to be something there, something cake-based.
Did you know when Sepp Kuss's birthday was, like off the top of your head? That's a very impressive factoid, if so.
I know it because I remember when he was going for when he was leading the Vuelta.
Yes. Yes.
He got given the world's shittiest cake by his team. And I was like, look, everyone's trying to undermine his GC and you're giving him this terrible looking like strawberry flan or something. Like, what is going on, guys? Give him a decent cake if you're going to take his win away from him. And then they let him have his win and he still had a shitty cake. So, it's swings and roundabouts.
I don't think we're going to solve this right now, but I think that, if anybody has suggestions, egg-based, cake-based, how can we convince Visma to stop riding as a single unit is really what we're going for. But now it's time to take a quick break because when we come back, we're going to talk about bike thefts. People keep stealing bikes. You need to stop. Oh, Dane, before we go anywhere, you just pulled something up on the screen here.
I just want to show
But we're not on
people this.
YouTube today.
Oh no, we're not on YouTube today.
Yeah.
I
We're
even
not
put
on
on my
YouTube.
shirt.
Well,
maybe we are. Maybe we are.
Oh,
I'll
man.
put it on Discord just for the audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've pulled up Ian's story
It's-
here to show to apparently a non-existent video audience the cake that Ian has put in his story about this from when
It's
he wrote
so
the story.
sad.
Yeah,
Like a candle has knocked over and is just lying on the icing.
it
on
does
top.
look pretty grim. Anyway,
I think just for this we do have to do the we'll do the YouTube. So I'll let Mikey know.
Okay, cool.
Okay. But now it is time to take a quick break and come back and talk about people stealing bikes, which is rude. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Why do people keep stealing bikes from bicycle? Why is this increasing? It feels like it's increasing. What, like, is there no security? Are the mechanics leaving things unlocked? Like, what's happening here? Because we had another instance just this week of 19 bikes or something getting swiped.
yeah,
on
there were
bicycle race.
there were literally multiple instances in the same race.
Yeah.
So first you have Visma. Visma's situation is like a real roller coaster. Actually, sorry, not the same race. Two different races. Visma's situation, big roller coaster because
But like the
they
same
had a
month.
situation
The same
where
week.
Yeah.
same week. There we go. I think they had a bike go missing because a rider, his bike was picked up by the sag wagon, basically. All right, and
Yeah.
initially everyone thought, oh no, somebody stole this bike, and then it turned out, no, we have it. It's all good. Literally, like that night, then, like a dozen bikes of theirs are stolen. So it's like false alarm, but then like very real alarm. Some very expensive Cervelos have been stolen, and
Right.
that's obviously a bad thing. They only found out about it the following morning. They had to scramble to get new bikes ready for the race, and they did. They got them ready in time. It was a pretty impressive thing to do that turnaround pretty quickly. And Richard Plugget, was a good boss and thanked his mechanics, profusely in the media. But yeah, that's obviously not fun for them.
Do we think that if that bike hadn't been fake stolen earlier in the day, do we think that sort of inceptioned the idea into the bike thief's head, I should steal some of Visma Lease Bike's bikes?
Interesting.
And if that hadn't happened, if they hadn't raised a false alarm about a bike theft earlier, it's like a butterfly flapping its wings in South America.
I don't think it's something we can prove, Ian. I don't think it's something we can
We
prove.
can try.
We can try, I suppose. No, like it's happening all the time though, because I mean these are obviously targeted, right? Bike thieves know big bike races here. It's not hard to find a team hotel, right? Like if you go to any of these sort of near a finish town and drive around, you'll see half a dozen team hotels within 20, 30 minutes of just driving around a finish town. We've seen this many times. Almost any decent-sized hotel in a finish town is going to have teams at it. It's really brazen and kind of bold, though. Like, bold's not the right word. That has a positive connotation, but brazen.
Brave.
Fortune
really
favors
brave.
the bold.
Deeply brave. To keep doing this because, I mean, so generally what happens is mechanics will do things like they'll back the back of the truck up where the doors are, like up against a wall or something like that, right? So even if you can get it unlocked, you can't get in. But then what the thieves have often been doing, and I don't know the exact circumstances of the Visma theft or the Total Energies one we're going to talk about, but they'll just like cut through the roof or something and drop in and send bikes out the roof and do things like that. So like, I don't know any other way to stop this other than teams hiring like security personnel to just hang out outside the bus for a whole night, right? Which is totally doable. Like Dave Rowe mentioned the fact that like bike trade shows do this, right? There's security personnel walking around bike trade show floors all night just to prevent this sort of thing. Maybe it's something that pro cycling has to now deal with, which is really unfortunate. It's kind of ridiculous. It's very ridiculous, but maybe that's just the reality these days.
Yeah, for a team like Visma, like it wouldn't be that unusual, or it would be unusual, but it would be doable, I think. But like a smaller team, that's kind of not something you want to spend your limited budget on. Somebody watching your bikes.
No.
Yeah, that's and Total Energies is the other team. At the Tour of Poitou, Charentes. I don't know how to say this one. Sorry, French speakers. They had like $500,000 worth of bikes stolen. And if
Yeah.
you're a smaller team, if you're a team that might be struggling to find sponsorship, like hiring a security guy is not nothing.
And it's not the first time that Total Energies has had their bikes stolen. They also had 8 of their bikes stolen at the Tour last year. And because they're a smaller team, but they also have a smaller bike sponsor. They have Envy as their bike sponsor. So firstly, the bikes are more expensive, and secondly, it's also a little bit more difficult for them to just conjure up, 20 replacement bikes out of thin air. So yeah, I feel for Total Energies.
Sucks.
I don't feel for Visma Lease bike.
That's bold.
Rude. Brave, even. Other things that have been happening at the Vuelta, we've had a number of protester incidents. So the Israel Premier Tech team was not stopped, but definitely slowed down in the midst of their team time trial the other day. We've seen quite a lot of protest around that team in the last week or two, obviously related to the war in Gaza. I mean, yeah. What else is there to be said about that? Which is like, don't put riders in danger. I think that's a bad vibe.
They were
Israel. The team put out a statement that was basically like, we respect everyone's right to freedom of speech, but this is the second you sort of put riders in danger, that's a separate thing. I think it's again, we've said this a million times. We don't have the solution here to this, but this is pro cycling. It happens on open roads, right? And there's very little way to stop it. And I just think it's gonna increase, right? It's just gonna keep increasing. So
yeah, to that point, I mean,
not
the
a whole lot else to be said about that.
Like the police were there. I mean, they arrived there right before the Israel team got there, and even so, it took a bit to sort of open up the road again, and therefore Israel was stopped for not that long. But yeah, it is pretty much impossible, like on open roads, to really secure things. So yeah.
Yeah, across 3,000 kilometers or whatever. Like it's just not going to happen. Yeah, maybe we'll move on from that story. It's just been happening. Again, we don't have a solution here, and there's not a whole lot to banter about with that particular one. That's for sure.
Fair bit of Israel news,
The other
though.
unfortunate bit. Yeah. Well, to sort of segue here, the other bit of unfortunate news and unfortunate Israel Premier Tech related news from this week is that it was yesterday. So Chris Froome was in a serious training crash. L'Equipe initially reported that this involved a driver in a vehicle, and that appears to not be the case. The team's official statement off the back of this made it clear that there were no other riders or vehicles involved. But yeah, Froome crashed with some pretty serious injuries, was airlifted to a local hospital. He seems to be okay. Doesn't have any major, no head injury, which I think is the really, really important thing. And by okay, that's all quite relative, right? I don't think that the statement made it seem like they're not concerned over sort of like very long-term damage, particularly again a head injury. But the man's 40 years old and in the last year of his contract, and this particular set of injuries is going to take at least half a season to return from. So a really unfortunate way for him to likely bow out of the sport, right? I think that's pretty safe to say at this point. And yeah, I think we just hope he heals up quick. Hope that I think he's got a number of surgeries happening to help fix some of the injuries that he's got in the next sort of 48 hours, and hope all that goes well, and hope he's back on some kind of bike in the near future. But I do, unfortunately, it's hard to see past this being the end of the Chris Froome pro cycling career, which is a real bummer. Bad way to go out.
It kind of punctuates as well that crashes were one major crash was kind of the end of his prime, good years. I mean, it all ended very suddenly with his Dauphiné Recon crash, and now
6 years ago now, Dauphiné Recon crash, broke his femur. That was on a time trial bike, and he's just really never been able to return from that. Spent a number of years trying, I think has very much kind of come to the realization in the last year or two that's just not going to happen. And so, I think we all just kind of hoped that he would be able to go out on some kind of high note, right? Like, a breakaway that he at least gets to do something interesting. And this is certainly not what any of us would have hoped for. So, yeah, just a real bummer for him. And I'm just glad that, at least again, according to the team, no major head injury, nothing that's going to hopefully have any real long-term significant impacts on him. He's just going to be recovering from a number of injuries now for a while, which sucks. I think on that really unfortunate note, we're gonna sort of wrap up today's show a little bit early. It's been a chaotic week here for myself. Obviously, I'm across the world from where I normally would be, trying to put this podcast out while we're doing some. I've really enjoyed this week, I should say. Like we've been talking about sort of the future of Escape Collective, and that's why I'm here. And I'm not gonna tease it too hard for the audience out there, but we've been talking about some really cool stuff, and I'm incredibly excited about the next couple of years and a lot of the things that we've been sort of working through and continuing to make the best possible content that we can. But yeah, I think we're gonna head to After Dark. We do have one thing to talk about in After Dark, because I think that the world must know who and what Ian Treloar was in high school.
It's going to get some subscriptions.
It's going to get some. We're going to build a community around Ian, is really what we're doing here. So we're going to cut it off there. I fly back on Sunday, so I will be back on the show on Monday. Johnny will be back, I think. Likely either Dane or Kit, and we'll have more Vuelta to talk about. So we'll see you then. If you're a member, stick around, because we're headed After Dark to find out the deep, dark secrets of Ian Treloar.